So people ask me, what do I play in my left hand? Believe it or not, there are a plethora of things you can play in your left hand besides the root of your chords. Today I'm going to talk about shell voicing. But before I go any further, head on over to gospelprogressionsuniversity.com/Gospel Keys Pro and download my free guide. What do pro musicians know that you don't? So shell voicing, as far as keyboard players or piano players are concerned, are notes that you would play with your left hand. So shell voicings are going to typically contain about 2 to 3 notes in your left hand. If you go more than that, you're out of the parameter of shell voicing. Now you're just playing full out chords in your left hand. So the notes that we play for the shell voicing, they're going to be strategic. We're not just going to take any random set of chords and just throw it on our left hand because we think it sounds good. We're taking notes that come from the 3rd and the 7th intervals of the actual chord. In gospel music, shell voicings are extremely important. And the most commonly used shell voicing is the tritone. So for example, we're looking at this G7 chord here. We have our B and our F, or B and F. This here is the tritone. So simply, if we were going to play this chord, we would just take that and play this in our left hand. That's our first shell, because this gives the definition or the characteristics or character or the quality of the chord. I'm reaching over and I'm playing the G over here, and my left side is a bass. And this is a G7, just by itself. We don't have to have the 5th. It actually builds a backdrop for harmony to support a singer or even to support your right hand or another player. So if I wanted to play a 2-5-1 chord progression, something simple, right? Like in C, you can do this, 2, 5, 1. Very simple. But my right hand only have 5 fingers, and I'm going to do so much with them. So if I wanted to play the shell voicing in my left hand for that 2-5-1, I would take something like this. I would just do 2, 5, 1. Okay? And that gives us the entire 2-5-1 chord progression in my left hand. Now, of course, you'll say, it's very empty feeling. Yeah, because my right hand is just sitting there idle. I can actually do things with that and build that up, or build it up in my left hand. But typically, like I said earlier, I'm not going to go over 3 notes, 2, 3 notes at max. So for that chord progression, I can do something like this. I can extend it just a little bit. 2, 5, and then 1 in my left hand. As long as I have the characteristics of the chord. The first chord is our D chord. The D chord is going to be a minor 7. All right. We have the minor interval, the minor 3rd, and the dominant 7, or the 7. Okay. And the second thing is our G chord here. So we have the tritone for the G, and then we resolve to C minor with the minor 3rd and the 5, and we have our 1. Or we could actually do this if we wanted to, just to imply that. Because if you have a bass player, that will help you in your left hand. There may be times you may play the bass by itself just to give that harmony, that richness on the bottom end. But there may be other times where somebody else is handling that for you, an organ player or a bass player. Now, if I wanted to extend that just a little bit, I can actually do on my left hand one more note. We can just take this 2, 5, and then go back to 1, okay? All right, now what I would do here is typically do this 2 or this, all right, is play something on my right hand. So if we did this, all right, we have our D in the bass. Now it frees up our hand, and we could just do, and then now the next chord would be, all right, and we have a G chord in our right hand. We have a left hand here, our 7th, 3rd, and now we just kind of altered something here. We said, all right, well, let's take the 5 and raise it, which is typical, all right, and then go right back to our tonic, all right, C. So we can do something like this. That would be impossible if our left hand is tied up and our right hand is just having to play chords. We don't have to do anything with our right hand. We can have another singer, like I said, playing those same notes. And all we're doing is just kind of comping. This is what's called comping. You're playing like in the background, all right, with our left hand. And if we had another part they wanted to add on top of it, like talk music, you're playing like little lines and little melodies and things like that. So we can play any amount of notes that we want in our right hand, and our left hand will do most of the work as far as the harmony is concerned. Now, this takes some practice. So you have to start with just the tritones, the 2 notes, because now you have 1 note. You just have another one. And before long, you'll be able to do extensions in your left hand. Set that aside as your practice time, and I promise you, it'll skyrocket your playing. And if this has helped you, go head on over to gospelprogressionsuniversity.com /Gospel Keys Pro and go download my free guide. What do pro musicians know that you don't? God bless you, and I will see you in the next video.